How are you, my fans, sneak peepers, and curious friends? I am difficult and demanding. If you want to know my real name, then hold still, and I might bring your wish to fruition. Before we begin, you can find this podcast show in iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Blueberry, Google Play Music, TuneIn, YouTube, and Stitcher. Now, unlike the other people in your life, I actually care about what you think. So meet me halfway, take a tiny moment, and give my podcast and each episode a review rating. This is the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real, uncensored, and shooting straight between the eyes. The third eye, that is. I am going to hit you with explicit truth. This solo show is outrageously honest and keenly witty with a view into life. Yes, I said life. That's what we do every day when we wake up from sleeping. We are living life. Well, some of us at least. Moreover, I hope to provide you with gut-wrenching laughter and a touch of wisdom. Now, as always, I, your host, Tara, am keeping it real and uncensored, unplugged from life, and dive all into this special edition of the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real on the ridiculous world we live in. Today's show is about the rising national debt of America. What is the national debt? Do you know? Do you know how it is impacting you? It is impacting you because you are responsible for paying it back. Oh, you are thinking that since you aren't the one spending, it has nothing to do with you. Well, you are wrong. You see, America is on welfare because foreign nations are paying our bills. And when they stop giving us loans for our lifestyle, your worst nightmare will become your reality. Can you say the Great Depression number 2? Finally, climb aboard and enjoy the entire show because I am giving you plenty of ridiculous honesty. Once the podcast episode ends, I am keeping it going on my Instagram page at Difficult and Demanding and on my Twitter page at Mrs. D and D. Before I begin, I would like to say a hello to the Up to Us team at Jackson State University. They actually contacted me and asked me to do a special episode in regards to our national debt here in America. So again, hello to the Up to Us team at Jackson State University. I hope you all are well, and thanks so much for listening. So the national debt. Let's talk about what is debt. Debt is something that is owed or due in this case, and that something is money, cash, dollars, dinero. When the national debt is spoken about, I get the feeling that it doesn't truly resonate with most folks. Now, why is that? It's because most people feel, well, hey, it's not impacting me right now. It's not impacting my life. I'm sure there's time for the government, politicians, or whomever else to figure out this situation. Because, hey, I'm good and I'm what matters to me. And, it's amazing how many people have these glazed thoughts and looks on their faces in regards to our national debt. They cannot see beyond the flashlight on their iPhone or Android phone. Now, the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast is about keeping it real and getting very real. And it's about to go down right now. You see, people have the wrong mindset perception about the national debt. The government is viewed as some great omnipotent entity that creates miracles and turns water into wine and takes one day of lamp oil and gets it to last for 8 days. Our government isn't divine. It's devised of hundreds, thousands of perfectly imperfect people. Yes, I said people. And angels and people aren't synonymous. They're not the same. So what does this have to do with the national debt? Debt is created when there is a lack. And in this case, it's a lack of money. What's the difference between the national debt versus personal debt? The differences are minute. Both are debt. However, personal means it's tied to you personally. And national means it's tied to a nation. That nation is the United States of America.
Moreover, if you're living in the United States, then you are a part of this nation. And the national debt, a portion of it is yours. It's ours. Now, I'm going to take it a step further. Have you figured out why the U.S. is in debt? It's the same reason why you're in debt. It's lifestyle choices. You and the U.S. is living beyond its means, or you living beyond your means. There isn't enough money to pay for your whimsical wants and your basic needs. Your income comes from a job. The government gets its income from the jobs from people like you and businesses. When the government doesn't have enough money to pay its bills, there's no payday loans, there's no Quicken loans. That money comes from somewhere. Do you know where it's coming from? Do you know where the U.S. is getting its extra money from? It is coming from foreign governments. America is taking loans from foreign governments to pay our country's bills. Now, I'm not saying that that is right or wrong. It's just a fact. People like to say unfair trade deals are responsible for our deficit and other countries are taking advantage of America. America first. Well, this is the problem. The America first attitude is contributing to the poor fiscal and monetary policies that are coming out of Washington, D.C. The facts are this. If you earn X, then you should spend X, or you spend less than X. If you earn X and you're spending X plus Y, then the Y is the debt. The Y also has a cost, which is called interest. So our government is spending X plus Y plus Z, and Z, it's the interest payments on our debt. Now, I'm going to take it a step further for you. When a person cannot afford to take care of themselves financially and receives financial support, do you know what that is called? Do you know what it's called? It's called welfare. That is what I said. America is on welfare. Our politicians have been continuously jeopardizing our present and our future with their fiscal and monetary policies. They are undermining the longevity of our nation for future generations. Let me tell you how and why. All debt has to be repaid eventually, which means the U.S., the United States, has to pay back the money we owe to China, India, and Japan, so on and so forth. Now, we all know that to pay back debt, one or two things must happen. You have to cut expenses or expenditures, and or you have to get a windfall, meaning our government won the lottery. The U.S. windfall is not going to come from the lottery. Our prosperity comes from businesses and the financial success of its citizens. Too much success will overheat our economy and lead to inflation and other factors. So it's important to keep a slow and steady pace during an economic expansion. So you can kiss the probability of the United States having a windfall. You can kiss that goodbye, because that cannot happen because we cannot overheat our economy. Now we are left with cutting costs. What does that mean? It means a cut in our government spending. Our government would have to shrink, and government funding programs would shrink and or become obsolete. Now think long and hard about all the things that you have become accustomed to that the government pays for. Nowadays, we are so entitled and take for granted what we have. To get our national debt under control, things would have to get worse for our citizens, meaning the quality of life that you have today is put on hold, is paused. Our infrastructure would deteriorate. Our social programs are non-existent. Think about the Great Depression, because this would be the Great Depression number 2. We would have mass suffering and deprivation. Now, if rich private citizens decided to donate their own money to decrease the national debt, that would help and be very patriotic. But you and I both know that's probably not going to happen. Now, I'm going to take this one step further before I end this special request episode. When the U.S. loan notes become due for repayment, and we don't have the money to pay the interest and or the principal amount, we cannot renegotiate the loan terms. At some point, we will not be able to renegotiate the loan terms. At that point, it's over. Look at what happened to countries like Venezuela and Greece. Our money won't be worth the paper that is printed on. Our dollar and its value is a mirage. It's an illusion. Its value is based on the perception, faith, hope, and goodwill of others. It's like the value of a home. It's supply and demand. How do you think a home price can drop and or increase by 20% with a blink of an eye? These foreign nations are loaning us this money based off of the US's past and current prosperity. So they consider us a good credit risk. What happens when you are no longer a good credit risk? You can't get the money you need. And if you don't know how hard it is, ask someone who needed money, a loan, and they couldn't get it at the right time. It is the difference between being homeless or not. Eventually, the quantity, the sheer size of our debt and interest payments are going to outweigh all GDP, all GNP, everything that we're producing right now. It's going to outweigh it. It's going to make what we're doing, what we're producing, it's going to pale in comparison. So the last 100+ years of prosperity that we had or have, it is going to be a figment of your imagination. It's going to be another story in history. Listen to what I said. The 100+ years of prosperity that we have been enjoying from the industrialization age to the present, to the information age, we have had the opportunity to enjoy great prosperity. Yes, we've had some recessions, we've had some hiccups, but overall, things have been going well. We've been producing, our nation has been growing, our population's been growing, our standard of living has been growing. At some point in time, our national debt, if you had a balancing scale, is going to offset any and all benefits that we have as far as contributing to our gross domestic product, our gross national product. And when our debt outweighs, overshadows what we're producing as a nation, you can kiss the life that you have, the life that you know, the life that you have known, the life that you have read about presently in history books. You can kiss that all goodbye. It is going to be a figment of your imagination, and it's going to be another story in history when a great nation empire collapsed and fell. Look at the Byzantine Empire, the British Empire, the Mongolian Empire, the Egyptian Empire, the Roman Empire, so on and so forth. Soon, maybe tomorrow, maybe 50 years from now, that may be us. So let's make the hard choices now and change our course before it is too late. Are you disappointed this has come to an end? Well, it doesn't have to. Reach out and let me know what you think about this episode and my podcast. You can try and slide into my DM, but I will kick your ass out. So I suggest you hop into my DM on Instagram at Difficult and Demanding or Twitter at Mrs. D&D, or leave a comment on one of my posts. Now give. My episode links to friends, family, associates, frenemies. Hell, give it to your enemies. Actually, I don't give a damn who you give it to. Just give the shit to people and bring laughter to others and show your love for this podcast. Will you miss me as much as I miss you? Our time will come again soon. Episode 18 is coming on March 23rd, 2018 from the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real on the ridiculous world we live in. Visit my Instagram page at Difficult and Demanding and my Twitter page at Mrs. D&D.